Hello, I'm recording this after I already finished recording everything, but it just occurred to me that I kept referring to Robert Pattinson character as Andrew Garfield, and I am so sorry, but that is a completely honest mistake because I can't get the thought of Spider-Man out of my head because of Zendaya. So, and to be honest, they do look really similar to each other. So that is my mistake. Every mention of Andrew Garfield, just pretend I'm saying Robert Pattinson. Hello, this is Ennie, and I'm here for another movie review. This time, the drama starring Andrew Garfield as Zendaya as Charlie and Emma. In this movie about a couple that is going through the worst thing that they can possibly experience right before their wedding is supposed to happen. Now, I did see trailers for this in during other movies while I was at Alamo Drafthouse. I thought that the movie looked pretty interesting, as well as the fact that even from the trailers I could tell that this was going to be a very interesting movie. And I just took a chance on it. I didn't know anything about it besides what the movie told me, and the movie didn't tell much. So, thing about the trailer is that the trailer does not reveal much of how the tone of the movie is. The entire movie is extremely uncomfortable. You could call it somewhat like I could compare it to a Safdie movie where the stakes get higher and higher and higher, but in this case, it's the anxiety is getting higher and higher because all of the characters are gradually breaking down more and more over the course of the film. All of the characters. And then at the very end, there's just a big explosion. Now, the good things that I will talk about in this movie is that the music is phenomenal. It's composed by Daniel Pemberton from Spider Verse fame. There it was always an expectation that the music is gonna be phenomenal. And Zendaya and Andrew Garfield's acting is so charming. You believe that this is a real couple going through something like this. And the chemistry felt real between both of them and all the other players in the movie. The friends, the maid of honor, the best man, the the secretary, I believe. The secretary, I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now, but she was very well acted as well. She wasn't in the movie too long, but she had a very important impact in it. Now, the movie did a very good job of making you uncomfortable. It always kept you on your toes about what could happen next, and I think the star of the show is the editing and the design choices that they made. Now, there's a very important scene in the movie that is shown in the trailer. There's a scene where Andrew Garfield and Zendaya are trying to smile for a picture, and the camera woman is saying, you remember, you two know each other, and the smiles are so forced, and I don't know how you can act like your smiles are real and forced, but you can tell there's just so much tension between these two people. And although I will say that the actual secret itself, the secret that the movie doesn't reveal, I mean the trailer doesn't reveal, sorry. The secret that the trailer doesn't reveal isn't as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like a lot worse, especially because I'm gonna get into spoiler section in a little bit, but it just there was a thing before that was worse. It was even like a very funny moment in the cinema where myself and a bunch of other people we were just like, right, that was worse. And God, there are such complete curveballs in this movie that it's just it just hit it's similar to a Safdie film where it just hits you. It just comes right the fuck out of nowhere. And I I genuinely feel like the movie was better because of the editing and the chemistry. Those two things held this movie together like gears. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers now. I'm going to talk about a lot of details of very specific things about the movie that I liked. And one of those things is obviously I'm going to talk about The Secret. The Secret, it turns out, is that Zendaya wanted to commit a mass. I haven't exactly experimented with demonetization, but I don't want to say the words, so you can infer what it means. And she had a plan. She had a plan, and she had a means to commit that, and she was going to. And she admitted that she was incredibly depressed when she was young, and that's the worst thing she's ever done. And I just thought to myself, the girl right before you left a disabled child in a locked closet for an entire day. Apparently, she left this kid in an abandoned RV in the middle of the forest and just didn't tell anyone. And later on in the movie, they even bring it up. Like, when they're talking about how awful what Emma did is, and they're like, you left a kid in a closet. And everyone, and a lot of us were laughing. There were a lot of jokes in this movie. There were genuinely a lot of like uncomfortable humor. There was, but there was a really good joke where immediately after the discomfort of that first conversation, they went to the photographer, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot you, and I'm gonna shoot your husband, and then I'm gonna shoot your parents." And she said it like that, and it was just every time she said it, it just made them more and more uncomfortable, and it was just, mm, it was a great bit. It was a really good bit. There was a section of the movie that I really wasn't sure about. Charlie is in a lot of despair over the thought that her fiance might be a psychopath. And in the process of trying to get through these feelings, I don't even know how you could say it, accidentally, unintentionally, like maybe in the heat of the moment, he starts starts kissing his secretary, and it's just really sudden. It shocked me personally. I wasn't expecting that. It definitely came out of nowhere, but I feel like the entire point of it is that now he has an awful thing that he has done, and now the two of them can bond over the fact that they both want to get over the other's transgressions. Now that is what I believe, because there is the ending of the movie after all hell breaks loose. Everyone finds out because Charlie is drunk and he admits to everything. He is distraught. He goes to the diner, which at the beginning of the movie they had said we should go to the diner after the wedding because then it'll be like the when people who win Oscars go to the In and Out. And I thought that was really I thought that was a really nice bookend. And I was waiting for Charlie to just, get his burger, and I was not expecting this particular thing to happen. But Zendaya walked in and she pretended she didn't know him, but not in like a negative sense. She is doing the same thing that she did earlier when she asked Charlie, "Hey, the thing that I did, can we start over?" And just pretend that we're not, we didn't hear anything. And of course, this also happened at the very beginning of the movie where Charlie was trying to talk to her and he didn't realize that she was deaf in one ear. So she had to take an earbud out and asked him if, "Oh, okay, can we start over?" And it was a very sweet bookend. I feel like she did a bad thing. She learned from it. He became distraught because of that bad thing. He did a bad thing under the stress of just how much that thing bothered him. And then he now has that item to trade. Now both of them can move on from it. And I think that is a very bittersweet message. I'm glad that the movie has a bittersweet ending instead of, you know, a dark or depressing ending. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be a depressing ending. I was hoping that they were going to make up. Um, there are, if I had to mention my favorite aspect of this movie, hands down, it was the editing and the choices with the sound. Now, what I mean by that is that there were little moments that I genuinely adored because of the way they helped move the story and how they helped explain how the people in the movie are feeling. And there are many examples that I still remember. I'm going to try to remember a couple that are a bit hazy right now, but one of my favorites was the morning after the conversation. Zendaya and Charlie, they're both very standoffish. They're just kind of looking at each other, and we get little very deft glimpses of what Zendaya expects and what is normal, where they start hugging, they hug, they embrace, they kiss fondly, and in between that, in between those muted sections of passion, they have the argument where Charlie is like, what is going on? When were you gonna tell me this? And I think that was just a phenomenal way of showing just how much Emma wishes she never said a thing. It was unique. I'm happy with that. There is another section in this movie where Emma walks in to the wedding rehearsal area, and the DJ has a song on, and when she's walking into the frame, it starts scratching and stops. And it's like they use this particular theme where whenever she's in the frame, the music just cuts out. And this is followed the entire movie, even until the end, when Charlie is waiting for his burger, and he's looking out of the window of the diner, and she walks by, and the music is just dead silent when she's walking past. And it is such it's such a simple thing, but it enhanced the experience so much that I genuinely loved it. There were other there were a lot of other edited sections that were done so incredibly well. For example, there was the time when Charlie was trying to look at pictures of Emma, and he could only imagine her holding that gun. And it was just jarring seeing him like slowly contort until it just consumes his entire mind, where he can't get over the thought that I could potentially be marrying the wrong woman. And it's a heartbreaking section. The entire movie is like this. The entire movie is him figuring out if he is making the wrong decision. And I personally think that this is a great movie. If you can go see this movie, if you can support it, then I would highly recommend it. It's not very long. It's just under 2 hours. I personally give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. It's it's just below perfect in my opinion. And that is my entire opinion on the drama 2026 with Zendaya and Andrew Garfield. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that I can review many, many more movies in the future. Take care.